Hi all, Terry here, back with this long-awaited study video, because Yahweh is so awesome. All things are possible with God, right? This is for His honor and glory only, because for sure I would not be doing this long, crazy video if it wasn't. So anyway, with that said, let's get started with this study video. I think you're going to like this one. We're going to start with the 7 vials, or some call them bowls, of Revelation, chapter 16. We're going to do some in Daniel 7, and we're going to do all of Revelation chapter 13. I'm going to kind of skip all over the place for some of it. I'm going to pull verses from all over. It's going to be very long, so you'll just have to stop it and come back to it, noting the time and come back when you can. Just make sure you note the time, because you're not going to want to miss any of it. It's going to be very interesting we're going to look at this all in a spiritual way, so it's going to be quite revealing. I will speed it up. I'll try to speed it up faster than normal, so hopefully that'll help with the length. Anyway, let's get started. So we'll start in Revelation 16, but I'm only going to do the first 2 verses, and then I'm probably going to end it after I get done with Revelation 13, because it's going to be so long. I don't know if I will come back to Revelation 16 in another video, but we're starting with verses 1 and 2 now. So Revelation 16:1. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, Go your ways, and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth. Heard is G 191, to hear, give, in the audience of, come to the ears, shall hear, hearer, hearken, be noised, be reported, understand. Great is G 3171, big, literally or figuratively, very wide application, plus fear, exceedingly great, greatest, high, large, loud, mighty, plus be, sore, afraid, strong, times 2 to years. Compare to G 3176, greatest, or very great, exceedingly great. Compare also 3187, larger, literally or figuratively, specifically in age, elder, great, greatest, more. Voice is 5456, a tone, articulate, the steel, artificial, by implication, an address, for any purpose, saying or language, noise, sound, voice, probably akin to G 5316, to lighten, shine, that is, show, transitively or intransitively, literally or figuratively, appear, seem, be seen, shine, times think, prolongation for base of 54 or 5457, to shine or make manifest, especially by rays, luminescence, in widest application, natural or artificial, abstract or concrete, literal or figuratively, fire, light. Note, the compare to numbers go around in circles, so we know what that means, right? It has been manipulated. Out of is G 1537, a primary preposition denoting origin, the point whence motion or action proceeds, from, out, of, place, time, or cause, literally or figuratively, direct or remote, after, among, times are, at, betwixt, beyond, by the means of, exceedingly, plus abundantly above, for, forth, from, among, forth, or from, among, from, forth, from, up, plus grudgingly, plus heartily, times heavenly, times hereby, plus very, highly, in, and then this is odd, it's a ... ly, so etc. ly, I think it's supposed to be like godly, but the rewriters don't want to write that, so anyway. Because of, by reason of, off, from, on, out among, from, out among, of, over, since, times, thenceforth, through, times unto, times vehemently, with, without, often used in composition with the same general import, often of completion. Note, the ... used here is proof that the rewriting has been done. And usually I would not know what this would be, except that if a JEW-ish person wrote this and would not want to write the word godly out, since it is against their tradition, of course, and in the alphabetical order, Jehovah would go after the I's and before the O's, thinking of the English language, the JEWS's, who say they are, but are not, think they are geniuses, but they are rather silly in their mistakes that they make that stand out clearly to Yeshua's followers. Proof that this has been changed from what Dr. James Strong copyrighted work should read. So, I just think that ly would mean godly. Anyway, moving on. My 2 cents worth there. Temple is G 3485. To dwell, a fame, or fane. Shrine, temple. Shrine, temple. Compare G 2411, a sacred place, that is, the entire precincts of the temple at Jerusalem or elsewhere. Temple. Neuter of G 2413, sacred, holy. Sane is G 3004. Properly to lay forth, that is, figuratively relate, in words usually of systematic or set discourse, by implication to mean, ask, bid, boast, call, describe, give out, name, put forth, say, saying, say on, shew, speak, tell, utter. 7. Spiritually complete, completeness, perfect, perfection, fullness of time, as used in Scripture as the spiritual meaning, and it is the ordinal number when you look it up. Angels is G32, to bring tidings, a messenger, especially an angel, by implication a pastor, whatever. Angel, messenger, from G71, to lead, by implication, to bring, drive, reflectively, go, specifically, pass, time, or figuratively, induce. Be, bring forth, carry, let go, keep, lead away, be open. Compare to G34, a dove, herd, like herd as herd cattle. Okay. Go your ways is G5217, to lead oneself under. That is, withdraw or retire, as if shrinking out of sight, literally or figuratively, depart, get home, go away. From G5259, properly, or it's a proposition, under, or a preposition. I don't know why I have proposition. It's preposition. Under, that is beneath, or through. Whither, underneath, or where, below, or when, at, of time. Among, by, from, in, of, under, with. And from G71, we just did this one for angels, properly to lead, by implication to bring, drive, reflexively, go, specifically pass, time, or figuratively induce, bring forth, carry, let go, keep, lead away, be open. Pour out is G1632, to pour forth, figuratively to bestow, gush, pour out, run greedily, out, shed abroad, forth, shed abroad, shed forth, spill. From G1537, we did this one already, for voice, out of the temple. This is obviously for the word out. It was with my note about the godly, possibly standing out for godly, or the ... ly standing for godly, and why the rewriters might not have wanted to add it to the definition list. Vials is G5357, a broad, shallow cup. Vial. Okay, simple enough. Wrath, G2372, passion, as if breathing hard, fierceness, indignation, wrath. From G2380, a primary verb, properly to rush, breathe hard, blow, smoke. That is, by implication, to sacrifice, properly by fire, but generally, by extension, to emulate, slaughter, for any purpose, kill, do, sacrifice, slay. Compare to G5590, breathe, that is, by implication, spirit, abstract or concretely, heart, heartily, life, mind, souls, plus us, plus you. From G5494, to breathe, voluntarily, but gently, to chill, figuratively, wax cold. Note here, these definitions have been manipulated, but this word, wrath, in this verse is different from the wrath in 1 Thessalonians 5:9, which is wrath, G3709, properly desire, as a reaching forth or excitement of mind. That is, by analogy, violent passion, ire, or justifiable abhorrence. By implication, punishment, anger, indignation, violence, wrath. From G3713, to stretch oneself, that is, reach out after, long for, covet after, desire. Compare to 3735, to rise or rear, a mountain as lifting itself above the plain, hill, mount, mountain. Compare to 3733, a bird as rising in the air, that is, specifically a hen, or female domestic fowl, hen. 1 Thessalonians 5:9, for God hath not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by our Lord Jesus Christ. Salvation is rescue, safely, deliverance, Christ is anointed. Obtain is salvation. Against, purchased, possession. Appointed, to place, advise, bow, commit, conceive, give, need, or kneel down, lay aside, lay down, lay up, make, ordain, propose, put, set, set forth, settle, sink down. So in Revelation 16:1, this wrath that are being shed throughout the entirety of the whole earth and its inhabitants is the Spirit of God, Yahweh. There are 7. So it is the 7 spirits of God. His voice has commanded it from his dwelling in heaven. It is not a future thing. It is an ongoing thing from the beginning of the earth age or the Adamic age timeline. We will see proof of this as we continue on. Not wrath as fury, but his spirits being spread throughout the earth. Revelation 16:2. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. Okay, this is going to be a very long verse, but necessary. So, first is G 44:13, foremost in time, place, order, or importance. Before beginning, best, chiefest, first of all, former. Contracted superlative of G 42:53, a primary preposition for, that is, in front of, prior, figuratively, superior to. In compounds retains the same significance, above, ago, before, or even, ever. Went is G 565, to go, that is, depart, aside, that is, apart, or behind, that is, follow. Literally or figuratively, come apart, go aside, go away, go back, go out, go a ways. Pass, away, be past. From G 575, off, that is, away, from something near, of place, time, or relation, literally or figuratively. Times here, after, ago, at, because of, before, by, the space of, for, forth, from, in, out of, off, up, on, once, since, with. In composition, as a prefix, it usually denotes separation, departure, cessation, completion, reversal, etc. And from G 2064, to come or go, literally or figuratively, accompany, appear, bring, come, enter, fall out, go, grow, times light, times next, pass, resort, beset. There fell is G 1096, to cause to be, generally or generate, that is, reflexively, to become, come into being, literally, figuratively, intensively, etc. Arise, be assembled, be, become, befall, behave, self. Be brought to pass, become, come to pass. Continue, be divided, be done, draw, be ended, fall, be finished, follow, be found, be fulfilled, plus God forbid, grow, happen, have, be kept, be made, be married, be ordained to be, partake, pass, be performed, be published, require, seem, be showed, times soon as it was, sound, be taken, be turned, use, wax, will, would, be wrought. A noisome is G 2556, worthless, subjectively depraved, or objectively injurious, bad, evil, harm, ill, noisome, wicked. And grievous is G 4190, hurtful, that is evil, properly in effect or influence, figuratively calamitous, also passively ill, that is diseased, but especially morally culpable, that is derelict, vicious, vicinious, neuter, singular, mischief, malice, or plural, guilt, masculine, singular, the devil, or plural, sinners, bad, evil, grievous, harm, lewd, malicious, or malicious, wickedness. From a derivative of G 4192, toil, that is, by implication, anguish, pain. From the base of G 3993, to toil, for daily subsistence, starving, that is, indigent, poor. Compare G 4434 to crouch, a beggar, as cringing, a pauper, literally or figuratively distressed, beggar, beggarly, poor. Akin to G 4422 to scar, frighten, or to scare, frighten. Sore is G 1668, an ulcer, as if drawn together, sore, probably from G 1670 to drag, literally or figuratively draw. Compare to G 1667 to coil or wrap, fold up, a form of G 1507 to coil or wrap, roll together, and 1670 akin to akin to G 138 to take for oneself, that is, prefer, choose, akin to G 142, a primary verb, to lift, by implication to take up or away, figuratively to raise the voice, to keep in suspense the mind, specifically to sail away, that is, to weigh anchor, by Hebraism to expiate sin, away with, bear up, carry, lift up, lose, make to doubt, put away, remove, take away, take up. Upon is G 1519, to or into, indicating the point reached or entered of place, time, or figuratively purpose, result, etc. Abundant, abundantly, against, among, as, at, backward, before, by, concerning, plus continual, plus far more exceeding, for intent, for purpose, for, plus forth, in, among, in, at, unto, in so much that, into, to the intent that, plus of one mind, plus never, of, upon, plus perish, plus set at one again, so that, therefore unto, throughout, till, to be, to the end, toward, here until to, until toward, where, wherefore, with. In composition, often expressing motion, literally or figuratively. Men is G 444, the countenance, from G 3700. Man face, that is a human being, certain man. From G 435, a man properly an individual male, fellow husband, man, sir. From 3700 to gaze, that is, with wide open eyes, as something remarkable, appear, look, see, show self, which G 3588, the, this, that, one, he, she, it, etc., had is 2192 to hold, be able, times hold, possessed with, accompany, plus begin to amend, can, cannot, times conceive, count, diseased, do, plus eat, plus enjoy, plus fear, following, have, hold, keep, plus lack, plus go, to law, lie, plus must needs, plus of necessity, plus need, next, plus recover, plus reign, plus rest, return, times sick, take for, plus tremble, plus uncircumcised, use. The mark is 5480, a scratch, that's G5480, a scratch, or etching, that is, stamp, a badge, as a badge of servitude, or sculptured figure, statue, graven, mark, from the same as G5482, to sharpen, to a point, a stake, that is, by implication, a palisade or rampart, military mound for circumvallation in a siege, trench. And like those words, circumvallation and palisade, I'll look those up for you later. I put it in there from Webster. So anyway, if you don't know the exact definition of those, I do it later. So hold on. Akin to G1125, through the idea of scratching, a primary verb to grave, especially to write, figuratively to describe, write, writing, written. Of the beast is G2342, a dangerous animal, venomous, wild beast, or venomous beast, wild beast. Diminutive of the same as G2339, a wild animal, as game, hunting, that is, figuratively, destruction, trap. So here we have to take a side study to Revelation 13, so that we can get a better description of this beast. And I guess if I ever do go back to the vials, I can do the explanation of what this, of what Revelation 16:2 is, because I didn't do it here, and that would take up too much more time. So Revelation 13:1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Revelation 13:2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. I guess I was going to do just these 2 verses, but then it led to the whole chapter. So, anyway, moving on. And I, John, stood upon the sand of the sea. This phrase is not included in the text in the interlinear version of the Bible, which gives the most correct Greek language text. It's not necessarily ancient Greek. There's no way to ensure that. But I find this opening phrase intriguing John stands on the sands of the sea. Abraham had God's promise that his offspring, his children, his seed would become as the sands of the sea. The sea represents the humans as a collective, the nations as a collective, and so on. So anyway, saw is G142, to see, literally or figuratively, by implication to know, be aware, behold, times cannot tell, consider, have, known, knowledge, knowledge, look on, perceive, see, be sure, tell, understand, wist, wote. It's equivalent to G3708, properly to stare, that is, by implication, to discern clearly, physically or mentally, by extension, to attend to, by Hebraism, to experience, passively to appear, behold, perceive, see, take heed. Excuse me. Both from G3700, to gaze, that is, with wide open eyes, as at something remarkable, appear, look, see, show self. A beast is 2342, same as Revelation 16:2. Rise up is G305, to go up, literally or figuratively, arise, ascend, up, climb, go, up, grow up, rise up, spring up, come up, from 3303, properly up, and apiece, by, each, every man, in, through. In compounds, as a prefix, often means repetition, intensity, reversal, etc. And from the base of G939, to walk, a pace, that is, by implication, the foot. The Thayer definition, a stepping, walking. Number 2, that which one steps, the foot. Out of G1537 is the same as Revelation 16:1, and the sea is G2281, the sea. Generally or specifically, the sea. Properly prolonged from G251, a primary word, salt. Having G2192, to hold, be able, behold, be possessed with, accompany, plus begin to amend, cannot, times conceive, count, diseased, do, plus eat, plus enjoy, plus fear, following, have, hold, keep, plus lack, plus go to law, lie, plus must needs, plus of necessity, plus needs, next, plus recover, plus reign, plus rest, return, times sick, take 4, plus tremble, plus uncircumcised, use. 7 is G2033, a primary number, used spiritually and scripturally, means spiritual completeness, perfection, totality, fullness, power of action of transformation. Heads is G2776, the head, as the part most readily taken hold of. Literally or figuratively, head. Their definition, chief, prominent, capital, leader, supreme, master, ruler, highest one. A note in the Strong's has been corrupted here, and is G2532, and this is all the ands in all of Scripture. It uses this number. Apparently a primary particle having a copulative and sometimes also a cumulative force, and also even so, then, to, etc., often used in connection or composition with other particles or small words, and also both, but even for, if, indeed, likewise, moreover, or so, that, then, therefore, when, yea, yet. Now clearly this is a manipulation written by a person likely to be a JEW-ish scholar who has a hard time understanding English complexities and how Greek would fit translated into English. For one, saying that this is apparently a primary word, then a particle instead of a participle, and other proper part of the sentence names would be, or how it would be. So, Dr. Strong must be, doing flips in heaven, seeing what they are doing to his masterpiece here. Anyway, I just find it funny that they do this. Okay, so anyway, 10, the number 10 is G1176, a primary number, 10, 8, 18, 18, 10, whatever. But scripturally used in the spiritual sense, 10 means the law. Therefore, is associated with responsibility and also testing or testimony and witness. So there you go. Horns is G2768, the hair of the head, a horn, literally or figuratively, horn. His is G846, a primary preposition meaning superimposition of time, place, order, etc. About the time, above, after, against, among, as long as, touching, at, besides, times have, charge of, before, wherefore, for, in a place, in as much as, in the time of, into, because of, up, on, behalf of, over, by the space of, for the space of, through, throughout, unto, to, toward, literally or figuratively. Name is G, 3686, and I don't know for horns if I said H or G, but it was G, 2768. I just thought of that. Anyway, name is G, 3686, a name, literally or figuratively, authority, character, called, plus sir, name, named. From the base of G, 1097, to know, absolutely, allow, be aware of, feel, have known, knowledge, have knowledge, perceive, be resolved, can speak, be sure, understand. Compare to G3685 to gratify, that is, derive pleasure or advantage from, have joy. Identical with the base of 3686 through the idea of notoriety. Blasphemy is G988, vilification, especially against God. Blasphemy, evil speaking, railing. From G989, oh my gosh, I can't say it. It is spelled Scurrilous. I can't say it though. Anyway, it means coarsely jesting, obscene, vulgar. So anyway, I can't say that. That is calumnious. And that means calumny, false and malicious accusation against man, or specifically impious against God, blasphemer, blasphemous, railing. From G 53:45, a saying, that is, rumor, fame, fame. From G 53:46, to show or make known one's thoughts, that is, speak or say, affirm, say. Properly same as G 54:57, to shine or make manifest, especially by rays, luminescence. In widest application, natural or artificial, abstract or concrete, literal or figuratively, fire, light. And same as G 53:16, to lighten, shine, that is, show, transitively or intransitively, literally or figuratively, appear, seem, be, seen, shine, times think. Revelation 13:2. I'm going to read that again since it's been a while. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. So a leopard is G 39:17, a panther, a leopard. Their definition, number 2, a very fierce Asiatic and African animal, having tawny skin, fur, I say fur, marked with large black spots. So going back to find this in Hebrew, I went back to Daniel 7:6. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl, and 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. So this is Daniel's, in chapter 7, Daniel's dream of the 4 beasts that he had a dream of. So, the word leopard is H 52:45, and it's Chaldee, and it is corresponding to H 52:46, leopard. And H 52:46 is from an unused root meaning properly to filtrate, that is, be limpid, and thus to spot or stain as if by dripping, a leopard from its stripes, leopard. Compared to 52:47, 52:47 is clear water. Clear water. Nimrah, a place east of the Jordan. Nimrah. From the same as 52:46. And the BDB definition of Nimrah is limpid. And so I looked up limpid in Webster, and the definition is clear or transparent. Thus, I guess, the clear water. Nimrah. So, anyway, okay, so H 52:49 is plural of a masculine corresponding to H 52:47, clear waters, Nimrim, a place east of the Jordan, Nimrim. Compared to H 1039, which is house of the leopard, Beth Nimrah, a place east of the Jordan, Beth Nimrah, from H 1004, and feminine of H 52:46. The BDB definition is Beth Nimrah, house of the leopard. And also the Nimrah, it means limpid or pure. And so H 1004 is a house in the greatest variation of applications, especially family, etc. Court, daughter, door, plus dungeon, family, plus 4th of times great as would contain hangings. Times great as would contain hangings. Home, homeborn. Winter, house, household. Inside, inside ward. Palace, place, prison, or plus prison, plus steward, plus tablet, temple, web, plus with, within, without. Probably from H1129. A primitive root to build, literally or figuratively, begin to build, builder. Obtain children, make, repair, set, set up, times surely. Wow. Okay. Now where was I? The leopard. Okay. Feet is G4228. A primary word, a foot, literally or figuratively, foot, footstool. Back to Hebrew on this one, also finding it in Daniel 7:4 and Daniel 7:7. In Daniel, talking about the dream he had of the 4 beasts that came up from the sea, Daniel 7:4. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. In Daniel 7:7, after this I saw in the night visions, and beheld a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth, and it devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. So feet is H7271. Chaldee, and it, feet, is corresponding, it's the foot, corresponding to 7272, a foot, as used in walking, by implication a step. A euphemism, the pudenda, times be able to endure, times according as, times after, times coming, times follow, broken, foot, foot, footed, footstool, times great toe, times haunt, times journey, leg, plus piss, plus possession, time. From 7270, H7270, a primitive root to walk along, but only in specific applications. To reconnorte, I don't know what that word is, and I did not look it up. To be a tale bearer, that is, slander. Also as denominative from 7272, to lead about, backbite, search, slander, espy, spy, spy out, teach, to go, view. Okay, that's a wide variety there. Alright, anyway, moving on in Revelation, there is G715, a bear, as obstructing by ferocity, bear, probably from G714, properly to ward off, that is, by implication, to avail, figuratively, be satisfactory, be content, be enough, suffice, be sufficient. Akin to G142, a primary verb, to lift, by implication, to take up or away, figuratively, to raise the voice, keep in suspense the mind, specifically to sail away, that is, weigh anchor, by Hebraism to expiate sin. Away with, bear up, carry, lift up, loose, make to doubt, put away, remove, take away, take up. Compare to H 5375, to lift, accept, advance, arise, be able to, bear, armor bear, suffer to bear, bearer, bear up, bring forth, burn, carry away, cast, contain, desire, ease, exact, exalt, self, extol, fetch, forgive, furnish, further, give, go, on, help, high, hold up, honorable plus man, honorable man, laid, lay, lift self, up, lofty, marry, magnify, times needs, obtain, pardon, raise up, receive, regard, respect, set up, spare, stir up, plus swear, take away, take up, times utterly, wear, yield. Let's see what Daniel's beast bear description in Hebrew is, from Daniel 7:5. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. Bear is H 1678. It's Chaldee, and it is bear, corresponding to H 1677, bear, as slow, bear, from 1680, a primitive root to move slowly, that is, glide, cause to speak, compared to H 1679, from an unused root, probably meaning to be sluggish, restful, quiet, strength, compared to 1680, which we just did, to move slowly, that is, glide, cause to speak. So, these are sort of manipulated definitions because they go around circles, but in this verse, the word rib is the same word as the word for the rib taken from Adam's side to create Eve in the Genesis story. The Strong's numbers for rib means a rib as curved, then the definition has been altered to mean more, but the original just used to say that. Thus, since the discovery of DNA, the DNA curved code, the particle, as it is obvious that the rib or curve taken from Adam was DNA to create Eve, thus keeping the DNA and bloodline pure. Just a side note there. Back to Revelation 13:2. Mouth is G 4750. The mouth, as if a gash in the earth or in the face. By implication, language and its relations. Figuratively, an opening in the earth. Specifically, the front or edge of a weapon. Edge, face, mouth. Yeah, all those go together. From the base of G 5114, a primary word to cut. More keen, sharper, more decisive than G 2875, as if by a single stroke, whereas that implies repeated blows like hacking. But G 2875, a primitive verb, to chop, specifically to beat the breast in grief, cut down, lament, mourn, bewail. So going back to Daniel 7:5, the bear beast has a mouth, but in Daniel 7:8 so does the fourth beast. I considered the horns, this is Daniel 7:8. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. So mouth is H6433, Chaldee, the mouth, literally or figuratively, mouth, probably for H6310, the mouth as means of blowing, literally or figuratively, particularly speech, specifically edge, portion, or side, according to, accord, according as, according to, after, appoint, assent, collar, command, commandment, times eat, edge, end, entry, plus file, whole, times in, mind, mouth, part, portion, times should, say, saying, sentence, skirt, sound, speech, times spoken, talk, tenor, times to, to, plus to, two, edged, wish, and word. From H6284, a primitive root, to puff, that is blow away, scatter into corners. So back to Revelation 13:2. After the beast having a mouth of a lion, oh no, wait a minute, we gotta do lion here. Okay, so of a lion is G3023. A primary word, a lion, lion. And again in Daniel 7:4, there was the beast that was the first, that was like a lion. H744, Chaldee, a lion, corresponding to H738, which is a lion, a young lion, plus Pierce from H717. We know that one, in the sense of violence. A primitive root, to pluck, gather, pluck. Okay. Corresponding to lion there, 717, pluck. Okay. So back to Revelation 13:2. Yes. After the beast having a mouth like a lion, there is a colon. So it means a separation of subject, and pay attention to the following. The dragon is G1404, to look, a fabulous kind of serpent, perhaps a supposed, to fascinate. Dragon, that's what it says, supposed, or supposed to fascinate. To find dragon in Hebrew, I had to go to a different place in the Old Testament. I picked Isaiah 27:1 just because it talks about the day of the Lord or the end times when mentioning the dragon. But anywhere in the Old Testament, dragon refers or references has the same Strong's number given as the definition. So dragon, H8577, a marine or land monster, that is, sea serpent or jackal. Dragon, sea monster, serpent, whale. Intensive, from the same as H8565, from unused root meaning to elongate, a monster, as preternaturally formed. That is, a sea serpent or other huge marine animal. Also a jackal or other hideous land animal. Dragon, whale. So preternaturally, or preternaturally, is, according to Webster, is number 1, exceeding what is natural, and number 2 is inexplicable by ordinary means. So, okay, the comparative takes us back around to the first numbers in circles, of course, but I especially like what the rewriters, their biased description of jackals, and they make sure to place the word see in front of serpent every time they write serpent. So we would not want to look up serpent in connection with the word dragon. But let's do it anyway. It just so happens that in Isaiah 27:1, the word serpent is used also, along with dragon. And this serpent has the same Strong's number, or Strong's numbers, given as the serpent in Genesis 3:1, the serpent that beguiled Eve in the Garden of Eden. So serpent, H5175, a snake from its hiss. Serpent from H5172, a primitive root, properly to hiss, that is, whisper a magic spell, generally to prognosticate, times certainly, divine, enchanter, use enchantment, learn by experience, times indeed, diligently observe. Sounds like false workers of light, right? Well, that's what beguiled Eve in the garden. Anyway, it's also in Isaiah 27:1. Anyway, and it's throughout the whole Bible anyway. But back to Revelation 13:2. Gave is G1325. This gave is the give that has a long list of definitions and has an implication of learning the hard way or with chastisement. To give, literally or figuratively, properly or by implication, adventure, bestow, bring forth, commit, deliver, deliver up, give, grant, hinder, make, minister, number, offer, have power, put, receive, set, show, smite with the hand, strike with the palm of the hand, suffer, take, utter, yield. Him and his equals the dragon gave the beast, the dragon's power. And so power is G1411. The equals force, literal or figuratively, specifically miraculous power, usually by implication a miracle itself, ability, abundance, meaning might, mightily, mighty, mighty deed, worker of miracle, miracles, power, strength, violence, mighty, wonderful, work. From G1410, to be able or possible, be able, can do, can do, cannot, could, may, might, be possible, be of power, of uncertain affinity, of uncertain affinity. So did they just make it up? There's a question, right? Seat, G2362, to sit, a stately seat, throne, by implication, power, or concretely, a potentate, seat, throne. So potentate, one who wields controlling power, ruler. That's what Webster says. Great is G3173. Wide application, literally or figuratively. Big plus fear, exceedingly. Great, greatest. High, large, loud, mighty. Plus be, sore, afraid. Strong, times 2 to years. Compare to G3176, greatest or very great. exceedingly great. Oh my gosh. Compared to G3187, larger, literally or specifically in age, elder, great, greater, greatest, more. Authority is G1849, privilege, that is, subjectively, force, capacity, competency, freedom, or objectively, mastery, concretely, magistrate, superhuman, potentate, token of control, delegated, influence, authority, jurisdiction, liberty, power, right, strength. From G1832, in the sense of ability. Impersonally, it is right. Through the figurative idea of being out in public, be lawful, let, times mayest. The Thayer definition, number 1, it is lawful. So the comparison to the Daniel's 4 beasts with this beast shows that this beast of Revelation 13 and the 4 beasts of Daniel's dream in Daniel 7 are the same beasts. Daniel's 4 are the one of Revelation 13 that John sees in his vision. Most people have always taught this, but what gets taught wrong is the interpretation of the beast as to who or what this beast is. And in Daniel, the 4 are all aspects of the one, with the 4th being the most prominent characteristic. So in Revelation 13:1, the very first phrase gives us a clue to what this vision is dealing with. In the vision, John is standing on the sands of the sea. We know from the Old Testament account in Genesis 22:17 that because Abraham obeyed God, he would be blessed and multiply his seed as the stars in heaven and the sand which is upon the sea. So as it is in this very first phrase of Revelation 13:3 or 13:1, that John, being from the seed, one being from the Hebrew nation, descendant of Abraham, this also tells us that we are going to be told about the spiritual vision that John had. So we are to understand the written account in a spiritual manner, not literally, because we are talking about God and what His Holy Spirit is revealing to John's spirit in a spiritual manner, if that makes sense without sounding redundant. John sees or perceives or understands a dangerous wild trap of destruction, the beast, that grows up, climbing up slowly, stepping out, rise up from the midst of, out of the people collectively, the sea. People's bodies are a good percentage water, plus salt and minerals, thus salt water, the sea. This dangerous trap of destruction is spiritually complete and perfect. That's 7. That's the number 7. This is not meant to be an actual ordinal number. It is given for its meaning scripturally and used spiritually, as throughout or as thought of by people. The heads. There are not a specific number of heads, as heads depicts how the people think. So there could be way more than 7. The responsibility through witness and testimony, that's the 10, of covering or being the covering, that's the horns for the people. Again, this is not an actual ordinal number. It is given as used scripturally, meaning spiritually. Horns is the first here, is at first hair in Greek used as the covering, but also here it is power, in that also given. And there are probably not just 10 of these either, as the 10 is only a spiritual reference, and within or upon the responsibility, which is 10, of the coverings and light of the people, the horns, there were also laws and statutes, that's 10, established, that bound with ties and that champion, that's the crowns, to certain sets of the established laws, that's 10, and enlightenments, which is horns. And upon this dangerous trap of destruction, the beast, and the thinking of the people, the heads, there was the character, the name of slander and distraction, blasphemy against God and his plan of salvation. And this dangerous trap of destruction, the beast, was transparent, and all his spots of sin could be seen to all, like unto a leopard. The word for leopard means transparent or clear water, yet the leopard, even the black panther, is spotted. So this dangerous trap makes sin apparent, either by eventual exposure or by conviction through spiritual enlightenment. A note here, these animal analogies are not a person, persons, a country, or nation. We have to let go of all preconceived ideas and false teachings to enable the Holy Spirit to show the spiritual meaning of this. So the leopard is not any nation, and it is not Obama. It is, as I said, spiritually exposing sin, making it noticeable for all to see. It is transparent. Next, this dangerous trap of destruction, the beast, is sluggish, yet, that's the feet, yet strong and sufficient. It is satisfied with itself. That's the bear, even though it has been slow in spreading or going throughout the world. The feet were as the feet of. The bear, like the leopard analogy, is not a person or a nation. It is not Putin or Russia. And also the dangerous trap of destruction, the beast, has boldly stated and dictated statutes and traditions that are repeated through language and spoken and passed on to others. His mouth as the mouth of a lion. What is spoken is bold and sure and sharply cuts the double-edged the hearts of the people who hear it. That's the lion. Then the colon separates the subjects, so we are to pay close attention to the following subject. Then John's vision spiritually reveals that the accuser, Satan, the deceiver, that's the dragon, the one who subtly whispers in the ears the magic spells, hands over, that's gave, the might, strength, wonderful work of miracles, and mighty deeds, and all the ability needed. The beast and his power. This is the dragon's power. All the ability comes from Satan. His power, the dragon. And Satan's stately seat, his seat. Now where was Lucifer's seat in heaven? Next to God, as God's number one angel. Most beautiful. After pride, after Lucifer's fall, where is his seat? He is ruler of the earth. So Satan gave this dangerous trap of destruction, the beast, rule over the earth, his seat, which equals his throne. And with this bestowed ability, his power, and a throne, rule over the earth, his seat, Satan gave his dangerous trap of destruction, the beast, a loud, large, and spanning the years, which is great, the privilege of freedom and control, which is authority, through the deceiving power of pride, and that is the dragon. So, have we learned what the beast is from all the clues? I think it's most obvious that the beast, John and Daniel before him were being shown, was the dangerous trap of religion, of man's beliefs, the spiritual systems of control that men have put in place to control the masses of the sea of people. It is not government systems because the heads are spiritual, indicated by the number 7. Plus, God is telling us the story of his plan of salvation in the Bible. It is what the whole purpose of the scripture is, to guide people to God's plan of salvation, of the Spirit. Governments are of the world order, and that is Satan's plan of pride. After all, Satan has rule over the earth until his time is done. All of the religious institutions around the world, and even the not so institutionalized pagan beliefs of the indigenous peoples and tribes, is part of this beast. It all leads to destruction of the spirit, as it leads away from God. It is controlled by the way of pride, the dragon's power, and has the free range of the whole world. All humans must believe in something. It is built into them. They need to be able to place trust and hope in something. God created it within us so that we could, out of our own free will, put our trust and hope in him and choose to love him. But the fallen one has infected the world with pride and the way of our destruction, the way of pride. That is the dragon. Man has developed, that's the heads, this dangerous trap, it's the beast, and pride, the dragon, has perfected it, making it spiritually complete. That's the 7 in the heads. The religious, the beast, or the religions, the beast, has been going on for all of this earth age, this Adamic era. So there is no future prophetic time this beast is coming. It is and has been here from the time of Adam and Eve's expulsion from the garden. It will continue until the end of this age. Aspects change or develop to accommodate the times, all throughout time, according to the growth in man's knowledge and understanding. So the beast comes off as being a good thing for people. It is spiritually complete and perfected, that's the 7. It is institutionalized and has a top-down leadership which keeps order and directs management of the masses. That's the heads. It takes on responsibility, evidenced by witness and testimony, through established sets of laws and rules, that's a 10, to cover by authenticating the formation of doctrine, promise to provide edification and life of its followers' spiritual selves. It est their souls, that's the horns. Followers under respective doctrines, that's the 10, are able to grow spiritually rising up in leadership or levels from the bottom, that's another 10, thus building to the sought-after rewards, that's crowns. There are many that make up this beast, because the beast represents the religions and religious systems around the world. But there are only a few that God is mainly concerned with or deals with firsthand, because they are considered his people, the bloodline which his plan of salvation was to come through, and all that came after. Even if you say you are not religious, you believe life evolved over a very long period of time, you still are included in this beast system. You believe in life, that's the head. You put your trust and hope in science and technology and medical advancement, that's pride, which is the dragon. It makes you strive to improve and gives you your reason to continue each day. Instinctual survival is your covering. That's the horn. To live your life, even unto death, is all there is. You are also a follower of the beast. This is religion also. So the beast is religion. The dragon, while yes, he is Satan, being the father of pride and the creator of the prideful way, which has engulfed the earth, in this vision, the dragon is the prideful way. It is not Satan as a man or a ruler or government. It is just pride, the most powerful thing of all that leads to destruction and death of the spirit. Pride is a liar, always was and always will be to come. This was, is, and is to come. In the negative. Yes? Anyway, let's move on. If you don't see what I'm saying, maybe you will get it as we move on. Revelation 13:3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. Wounded is G4969, a primary verb to butcher, especially an animal for food or sacrifice, or generally to slaughter, or specifically to maim, violently, kill, slay, wound. Death is G2288, death, or literally or figuratively, times deadly, death. From G2348, Dano, to die, literally or figuratively, be dead, die. Healed is G2323, to wait upon, menially, that is, figuratively, to adore God, or specifically to relieve of disease, cure, heal, worship. From the same as G2324, a menial attendant, as if cherishing, servant. From the base of G2330, to heat, properly heat, that is, summer. Wondered is G2296, to wonder, by implication, to admire. Have in admiration. Marvel, wonder. From G2295, wonder. Admiration. From 2300, to look closely at, that is, by implication, to perceive. Literally or figuratively, by extension, to visit. Behold, look upon, see. Compare to 3700, to gaze, that is, with the eyes wide open, as at something remarkable. Appear, look, see, show self. After G3694, to the back, that is, aback, as adverb or prepositional, a preposition of time or place, as a noun, after back, backward, plus get, behind, plus follow, from the same as G3693, with enclitic of direction, regard, with enclitic of source, from the rear as a secure aspect, that is, at the back, adverb or preposition of place or time, after, backside, behind, from 3700, again, to gaze, the same as the definition in wondered. So enclitic, that is a word pronounced with so little emphasis that it is shortened from forms part of the preceding word. Exempli gratia, or for example, the N apostrophe T in can't. Okay? So this verse tells us about one of the spiritually complete, perfect 7, thought of idealistic by man, the heads, of the dangerous trap that leads to destruction, which is of the religions, the beast. This top or confronting religion religion's head was slain, wounded, and brought back to life, or risen on the third day. The deadly wound was healed. That is why all the earth world marvels in admiration, wondered, and follows this religion, the beast. This is a depiction of Jesus' death on the cross and resurrection by God, and then the spreading of Christianity. It is a part of this beast, and it is the part that has been commissioned to spread to the whole world. This is not the Antichrist. This is Christianity itself, being described in verse 13:3. Remember, it is of a spiritual nature, not governmental ruling. It has been going on. It is not a future event. So this is Christianity, and it is talking about Jesus in this verse. Revelation 13:4. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? Worshipped is G4352, to fawn or crouch to, that is, literally or figuratively, prostrate oneself in homage, do reverence to, adore, worship. From G4314, a preposition of direction, forward to, that is, toward, with the genitive case, the side of, that is, pertaining to, with the dative case, by the side of, that is, near to, usually with the accusative case, the place, time, occasion, or respect, which is the destination of relation, that is, whither or for which it is predicated, about, according to, against, among, at, because of, before, between, whereby, for, times at thy house, in, for, intent, nigh unto, of, which pertain to, that, to the end that, plus together, to you, toward, unto, with, within. In compounds, it denotes essentially the same applications, namely motion towards, ascension to, or nearness at. A form of G4253, primary preposition, for, that is, in front of, prior, figuratively superior to, above, ago, before, or ever. In compounds, it retains the same significations. G4352 is also probably a derivation of G2965, meaning to kiss, like a dog licking his master's hand. A primary word, a dog, hound, or literally or figuratively, dog. The Thayer definition, 1. A dog. 2. Metaphorically, a man of impure mind, an impudent man. Saying is G3004, properly to lay forth, that is, figuratively relate, in words, usually of systematic or set discourse. By implication to mean, ask, bid, boast, call, describe, give out, name, put forth, say, saying, say on. Shew, speak, tell, utter. Compare to G2980, to talk, that is, utter words, preach, say, speak after, tell, talk, utter. Who is 65 is G5101, an interrogative pronoun, who, which, what, of direct or indirect questions. Every man, how much, plus no, none, nothing. What manner, what thing. Where, whereby, wherefore, whereof, whereunto, wherewith, wherewithal. Whether, which, who, whom, whose, why. Probably emphatic of G5100, an enclitic indefinite pronoun. Some or any person or object. A kind of, any, man, anything, anything at all. Certain thing. Diverse, he, every man. One thing. Ought, plus partly, some man, some body, someone, something, somewhat, plus that, no thing, whatsoever, times, wherewith, whomsoever, whosoever. Like is 3664, similar in appearance or character, like plus manner, from G3674, the same at the same place or time, together, akin to G260, properly at the same time, but freely used as a preposition or adverb denoting close association, also and together, with, withal. Able is G1410, to be able, or possible. Be able. Can do, cannot. Could, many, might, be possible, be of, power. War, G4170, to be engaged in warfare. That is, to battle, literally or figuratively, fight, make war. From G4171, to bustle, be busy, warfare, literally or figuratively, a single encounter or a series, battle, fight, war. Keeping in mind that pride is the dragon, it is not so hard to see how the people of earth could worship the dragon and how everyone will fall under its control. And since it is pride that gave the religion, the beast, its ability, mighty, miraculous work of making the whole world be controlled by the religions, the people adore the religion and reverence it, especially in Christianity, which has been spread throughout the whole world in the last 2,000 years. So who would be like it? There is nothing with the intoxicating power to subdue the masses like religion. Who would try to stop it? There is no one who can stop or fight against this power of pride, the dragon, or religious, the beast, are unstoppable. The religious, the beast, are unstoppable. It is a belief system, and its power, pride, is a condition of mindset. There is no stopping a belief or a condition of the mind of the masses. Wars are caused because of pride, but no one, and religion also, but no one can fight pride itself and win, or the religious belief and win. People try to replace the beliefs, but not stop it. Revelation 13:5. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. Continue is 41:60. To make or do, abide, plus agree, appoint, times avenge, plus band together, bear, plus bery, bring forth, come, cast out, cause, commit, plus content, continue, deal, plus without any, delay, would, do, doing, execute, exercise, fulfill, gain, give, have, hold, times journeying, keep, plus lay, wait, plus lighten the ship, make, times mean, plus none of these things move me, observe, ordaining, perform, provide, plus have purged, purpose, put, plus raising up, times secure, shew, plus shoot out, send, take, tarry, plus transgress the law, work, yield. Compare to 42:38. To practice, that is, perform repeatedly or habitually. By implication, to execute, accomplish, etc. Specifically, to collect dues, fare, personally, commit deeds, do, exact, keep, require, use arts. Translators notes on My Sword app for Android phone says continue equals, or some translations of the KJV say to make war in place of continue. Months is G3376, a month. So the religions, the beast was given a way, the mouth, to tell the contents and precepts of it, and to preach, that's the speaking, through the language of the religion, the mouth. This language was and is used as a sword, and especially in Christianity as a double-edged sword to cut with. That's the mouth. But since pride, the dragon, has given the ability, the power, to the religions, the beast, what is being preached, speaking from the mouth, is a hindrance to the people's spirit. That's a blasphemies. In this verse, the time frame is 42 months. This is where most read literally 3.5 years. But I was told that either this by mistranslation or whatever, it is not 3.5 years. This is the 4,000 years before Jesus, then the 2,000 years after Jesus. 6,000 years total are these religions, the beast, given the ability, the power, to exercise their fulfillment, and in abiding, that's to continue. So Revelation 13:6, and he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. Name is 3686, a name, literally or figuratively, authority or character, called plus sir, name, named, from 1097 to know, allow, be aware of, feel, have known, knowledge, have knowledge, perceive, be resolved, can speak, be sure, understand. Compare G 3685 to gratify, that is, to derive pleasure or advantage from, have joy. Note, this last one being because from G 1097 to know as being assumed as a Jewish idiom for sexual intercourse between a man and a woman. But this just shows the intentions of and thought processes of the rewriters, right? Tabernacle is G 4633, a tent or cloth hut, literally or figuratively, habitation, tabernacle, akin to G 4632, a vessel, implement, equipment, or apparatus, literally or figuratively, specifically as a wife to contributing to the usefulness of the husband, goods, sale, stuff, vessel, and akin to G 4639, shade or shadow, literally or figuratively, darkness of error or an adumbration, shadow. Adumbration equals a sketch or outline of an image, a shadow. That's the Webster definition. Dwell is 4637, to tent or encamp, that is, figuratively, to occupy, as a mansion, or specifically to reside, as God did in the tabernacle of old, a symbol of protection and communion. Dwell. From 4636, a hut or temporary residency that is figuratively the human body as the abode of the spirit, tabernacle. From 4633, a tent or cloth hut, figuratively habitation, tabernacle, akin to 4632 and 4639, same as what we covered under tabernacle. So verse 13:6 is getting personal for Yahweh God. The religions, the beast, use their sword, open his mouth, to hurt or injure, blasphemy, the awareness of the spiritual existence against God, to blaspheme his name, and to hurt and injure the spiritual awareness of the Spirit of God in his house in heaven, including misrepresenting what happens to the human spirit after the body dies, them that dwell in heaven. So the focus is mainly on the spiritually perfect idealist heads, that's heads, the specific covering, that's the horns, that are considered of Yahweh God's people. The part of the religions, the beast, which are Hebraism, now turned Judaism, and Christianity, which a more recent and dangerous faction is melding into Zionism. Because of the miraculous ability, the power, to spread worldwide, the whole world, these religions, the beast, are exuberantly prideful and arrogant in every way. The dragon. The pride, the dragon, undermines the correct way and misrepresents the spiritual, opens his mouth in blasphemy against God, teaching and guidance of God Yahweh, and his plan of salvation, Yeshua Jesus. The gospel has been preached according to literal understanding, the way of pride, the dragon. Revelation 13:7, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. Saints is G40, an awful thing, sacred, physically pure, morally blameless, or religious, ceremonially consecrated, most holy, holy one, holy thing, saint, compared to G53, properly clean, that is, figuratively innocent, modest, perfect, chaste, clean, pure, and compared to H2282, a festival, or a victim, therefore, solemn, feast, day, sacrifice, solemnity, from H2287, properly to move in a circle. That is specifically to march in a sacred procession, to observe a festival, by implication to be giddy, celebrate, dance, keep hold, a solemn feast, holiday, reel to and fro. Oh my gosh, in drunkenness, right? Oh my gosh. Compare to H2283 to revolve, properly vertigo, that is figuratively fear, terror, right? And compare to H2328 to describe a circle, compassive. Oh my goodness. Kindreds is G5443, an offshoot, that is race or clan, kindred, tribe, from 5453 to puff or blow, that is to swell up, but only implied to germinate or grow, sprout, produce, literally or figuratively, spring up. Compare to G5444, a sprout, that is leaf. Tongues is 1100. The tongue, by implication, a language, specifically one naturally acquired tongue. Nations is G1484, a race, as of the same habit, that is a tribe, specifically a foreign, non-Jewish one, usually by implication pagan, Gentile, heathen nation, people. Oh, really? And this has no bias whatsoever. From G1486, to be used by habit or conventionally, be custom, manner, want, or won't. What? Gentiles to be used. And these people, these rewriters, are not prejudiced. The JEWs, who say they are, yet are not, they are the real prejudiced ones, right? So this clearly shows, especially in the Christian way, religion, the beast, the enemy, has the ability, power, to gain legal rights to try, test, and attack, to make war with the believers of Yeshua, Jesus, the saints, the going around in circles, the saints, and to overcome them, is what is happening now. This is what I have been proclaiming in my videos for a while now. These Christians, believers, are from all around the world. This religion, the beast, is not a respecter of persons, which is why it is a favorite of the pride, the dragon. Revelation 13:8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. Dwell is G2730, different from verse 6, those dwelling in heaven, to house permanently, that is, reside, literally or figuratively, dwell, dweller, inhabit, inhabitor. So we're going to live on earth forever, permanently. We're not going to heaven, I guess. Okay. From G3611, to occupy a house, that is, reside, figuratively inhabit, remain, in here. by implication to cohabit, dwell. From G3624, a dwelling, literally or figuratively, by implication a family, home, house, household, temple. See also G3625, land, that is, the globe, terrain part, specifically the Roman Empire, earth, world, by implication of G1093, soil, by extension a region or the solid part or the whole of the terrain globe, including the occupants in each application. Country, earth, earthly, ground, land, world. Written is G1125, to grave, especially to write, figuratively to describe, write, writing, written. Book is G976, properly the inner bark of the papyrus plant. That is, by implication, a sheet or scroll or writing. Book. Life is 2222. Life. Literally or figuratively. Life. Lifetime. From 2198, to live. Literally or figuratively. Life. Lifetime. Alive. Lively. Live. Quick. Compared to G5590, breathe, that is, by implication, spirit, abstractly or concretely, heart, heartily, life, mind, soul, plus us, plus you. From G5594, to breathe, voluntarily but gently, etc., etc. Lamb is G721, a lambkin, lamb. From G704, a lamb as male, lamb. Same as G730, male as stronger for lifting, male, man. From G142, to lift, by implication, to take up or away, figuratively to raise the voice, keep in suspense the mind, specifically to sail away, that is, weigh anchor, by Hebraism to expiate sin, away with, bear up, carry, lift up, lose, make to doubt, put away, remove, take away, take up. Compare with H7375, to lift, accept, advance, arise, able to bear, armor, bear, suffer to bear, bearer, bear up, lift, bring forth, burn, carry, carry away, cast, contain, desire, ease, exact, exalt, self, extol, fetch, forgive, furnish, further, give, go on, help, high, hold, up, honor, plus man, honorable man, laid, lay, lift, self, up, lofty, marry, magnify, times needs, obtain, pardon, raise up, receive, regard, respect, set up, or set up, spare, stir up, plus swear, take away, take up, times utterly, where, yield. I put those in there over and over again because just to show how diverse those are. They are the ending of so many different words, or the end result of so many different words. So I continue to put them in there over and over again for that reason, just to show how many words they are the ending for. Slain is G4969, to butcher, especially an animal, for food, sacrifice, or generally to slaughter, or specifically to maim, violently kill, slay, wound. Foundation is G2602, a disposition, that is, founding, figuratively, conception, conceive, foundation. From G2598, to throw down, cast down, lay. From G906, to throw, arise, cast out, times dung, lay, lie, pour, put for, or put up, send, strike, throw down, thrust. Compare to G4496, to fling, properly with a quick toss. By qualification, to deposit, as if a load. By extension, to disperse, cast down, cast out, scatter abroad, throw. Akin to G4474, to let fall, rap, to slap with the palm of the hand, smite with the palm of the hand. Compare to G5180, to thump, that is, cudgel, or cudgel, or pummel, properly with a stick, or bastinado, but repeated blows, by implication to punish, figuratively to offend the conscience. Beat, smite, strike, wound. World is G2889. This one's different than the globe definition. Orderly arrangement, that is, decoration, by implication, the world, in a wide or narrow sense, including its inhabitants, literally or figuratively, morally, adorning, world. From the base of G2865, to tend, that is, take care of, properly, to provide for, that is, by implication, to carry off, as if from harm, generally obtain, bring, receive. This verse is quite telling with a different definition of the words dwelling and world. From Foundation Word Search shows that the earth age was meant to be a test for us inhabitants, shown more so by the word worlds, meaning being an orderly arrangement, and that although we are being put through the ringer, we are taken care of by God. These religions, the beast, will entangle all the inhabitants of the world through the prides, the dragon's power, ability, which is power. The world, earth, in the first part should have been world, or the word earth in the first part should have been world, not earth, as it's the same number, but it could say the different words, and I'll say why later. The Lamb is the true Word of God, His plan of salvation through Yeshua Jesus, the true gospel, spiritually understood. Those who are written in His book are His elect, those He has called to believe in Him and receive the gift of the real Holy Spirit of Yahweh God. All who are not found in the book will fall for the deception of pride, the dragon of the religion, the beast. Although Jesus was here in the flesh only 2,000 years ago, the plan of salvation has been conceived since the beginning of this earth age, or the religious conception of the beginning. Revelation 13:9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. So in the spiritual sense, if there is any human that can perceive this, let them understand it spiritually. I have shed many tears because I know I'm one of the few who can see scripture like this. I saw this part of Revelation 13 way back in the early 2000s, before my walk around the world. But just wait till we get to the second half of this chapter. The Father sort of tricked me into doing this because I have been putting off Revelation 13 for a long time. So He had me start with Revelation 16 to get me to Revelation 13. No fair, but well, here we are, right? No one else sees Scripture the way I do, or at least they keep quiet about it if they do. I cry a lot of times because I know it is truth spiritually. How everyone reads the Bible literally is false. It is pride. It is the speaking blasphemies, because it is lies, literally. Interpretation of Scripture is pride and lies. It is against God and His true word, His true salvation plan. This is what you have to learn. This is why I am doing this, is because I am trying to teach people this. Reading scripture literally is feeding yourself lies. You have to learn to see it spiritually to get the truth. Reading it literally is you're going to only perceive a lie. Reading it and understanding the spiritual meaning is the only way you will get the truth of any of it. It is why the things do not play out exactly like it is supposedly prophesied in the Bible. Man tries to make what he reads literally play out. That is why the JEWs in charge in Israel are rewriting the KJV and the Strongs. So it is so to make what they want to happen come to pass. But all of that is to no avail if it is seen spiritually, not religiously, without the beast's influence, if it is seen humbly, without pride and literal interpretation, which is the dragon. I struggle because when I first seen this, it was hard for me to swallow it. And so, if you think that the first half of Revelation 13 was hard, just wait until we get to the next half. It's hard for me, and it's even harder for me to have to share it with you all. So I hope you're sitting down. Please listen carefully. And if you have to stop, just make sure you mark the time, because you're not going to want to miss any of it. Revelation 13:10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Leadeth is G4863. To lead together, that is collect or convene, specifically to entertain, hospitality, plus accompany, assemble, selves, assemble together, bestow, come together, gather yourselves together, gather up, gather together, lead into, resort, take in. From G4862, denoting union with or together, that is by association, companionship, process, resemblance, possession, instrumentally, addition, etc. Beside, with. In compounds, it has similar applications, including completeness. From G71, to lead, by implication, to bring, drive, reflexively, go, specifically, pass, time, or figuratively, induce. B, bring forth, carry, let, go, keep, lead, away. Be open. Captivity, G161, captivity. From G164, a spear, properly a prisoner of war, that is generally a captive, same as G259, capture, be taken. From G138, to take for oneself, that is to prefer, choose. Akin to G142, to lift, by implication, to take up or away, figuratively to rise or raise, the voice, keep in suspense, the mind, specifically to sail away, that is, weigh anchor, by Hebraism to expiate sin, away with, bear up, carry, lift up, lose, make to doubt, put away, remove, take away, take up. Compare with H5375, as before. Killeth is G615. Okay, pay attention to this. because this is really interesting here. Killeth, G615. Persuasion, that is credence, moral conviction of religious truth, or the truthfulness of God or a religious teacher, especially reliance upon Christ for salvation. Abstractly, consistency in such profession. By extension, the system of religious gospel truth itself. Assurance, belief, believe, faith, fidelity. So, just what happened here? What I wrote here no longer exists for this definition. In fact, it is strange how I got this definition. It is from the My Sword app for Android, the KJV Plus version on my phone. When I tapped the Strong's number after the word killeth in the verse, it did not want to go to the Strong's right away. Then I tapped a few times, then the program glitched and went to the definition that I read. I checked to make sure the number was correct before I copied what it said. I did not get the next number it was from or compared to, copied, but it was a similar definition. When I went back to check for other numbers first before I copied that one, it was all different, as all the numbers were changed, or all the definitions were changed, and the other numbers in the series. So when G615 is looked up, what I have read will not be the definition now. So is this another change right before my eyes? I thought that definition was too much like exactly what I was being shown spiritually. So, of course, they had to change it. Tell me they are not monitoring me. Anyway, now for G615, for killeth, the word killeth, it says to slay, to kill outright, figuratively to destroy, put to death, kill, slay. From G575, off, that is, away from something near, in various senses of place, time, or relation, literally or figuratively, times, here, after, ago, at, because of, before, by the space of, for, forth, from, in, out of, off, up on, once, since, with. So this is just crazy. I caught them again, changing the Strongs. Or maybe this was the old definition before they changed it. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. It is the old definition. Any way you look at it, that's the old definition. Whether they just changed it after I copied that old definition down, or they had changed it and for some reason the program glitched and it showed up the old definition for some reason. I don't know. But anyway, I caught them again. Just crazy. That's because I study so much. And they watch me. They know that I'm catching them. And they know that I know what they're doing. They hear me, they watch what I'm studying, and they know when I'm seeing something that they don't want me to see, so they change stuff, right? They're changing things. If I catch something that they haven't changed yet, they change it if I'm studying it, because they don't want it out there. So they want to get it changed. So I guess in a sense I might even be helping them get things changed. Ugh. Anyway, moving on. Sword is G3162. I hope I'm not helping them. Anyway, sword is G3162, a knife that is dirk, figuratively war, judicial punishment, sword. So what's that imply? Judicial punishment. Okay, for a sword. Yeah, okay. Probably of G3163, a battle, that is, figuratively, controversy, fighting, strive, striving. Shouldn't they mean strife if they're fighting or battling? Strife? STRIFE instead of STRIVE? Oh, geez. Okay, anyway, typo or whatever. From G3164, to war, that is, figuratively, to quarrel, dispute, fight, strive. Supposed to be strife, not strive, not keep living, striving to live. It's strife. I'm fighting, I'm quarreling, I'm in strife. So what this verse is saying spiritually is a warning for the people of God, Yahweh. Anyone who gathers others in to the flock by preaching and teaching leadeth a tainted gospel, or literally interpreted scriptures, into captivity, shall end up themselves, never being able to see truth spiritually, shall go into captivity. This is captivity because it is the way of pride, the dragon, and they shall always be blinded by its snare. Never will they be free. Those preaching and teaching are responsible for the souls they helped capture, which is why, after the colon, the difference of subject showing to pay close attention to the next part, we are told about those who spread this religion, the beast, by using the mouth speaking blasphemies, the word, the scriptures, literally, the way that killeth of pride, the dragon. These people are not only endangering the souls of the people they are bringing into the faith, but they are also sealing their own fate as well. Must be killed with the sword. They are locking in the fact that they will be going in circles in the legal trying, testing, and attacks made by the enemy and his minions. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And Revelation 13:11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. So here's where it's really getting good. Another is G243, else, that is, different, in many applications, more, one another, another, some other, other, others, otherwise. Two is G1417, primary numeral, two, both, twain, two. Spiritually and scripturally used to depict duality, divine symmetry, balance, witness, and agreement. In Hebrew, the second letter of the alphabet is bet, a tent or house. The Strong's numbers and definitions are all the same for beast coming up out of the earth. It's the same as the one in the first verse which should have been translated world in verse 8 in that case, but here earth is the correct word. It's the same number. And the same numbers and definitions for horns like lamb and dragon. Spake is the same as speaking in verse 5. So, remembering that the beast of the first half of this chapter is religions, with a focus on Christianity because of verse 3's depiction of Jesus' death and resurrection, we did understand that the number of religions is not a set number, only that there are many organized, that's heads, religions, that's the beast, that are spiritually perfect. That's the number 7. We were also told about the covering provided, the protection, that's the horns, that the religions, the beast, provides in a responsible way, establishing laws and rules to provide structure to witness about. That's the 10. Within the structure, 10, there is room for growth and rewards. That's the crowns, given to make sure the masses of the people remain under control. That's out of the sea. All of the organized, that's the heads, religions, that's the beast, is thought as perfect, that's 7, by man, not by God Yahweh. The top-down hierarchy structure, that's the heads, is not God's plan of salvation. It is a pride way of doing things. That killeth. And pride, the dragon, is at the top. That's his seat of all of it, as the driving force and abilities. That's his power. In Revelation 13:11, John perceives in his spirit a different beast. This one is grown up, coming up, and originates from the Adamic bloodline. That's the earth. As the people of God, Yahweh, God created Adam from the dust of the ground. Genesis 2:7 says, and the Lord God formed man out of the dust of the ground. That's H127, soil, from its general redness. Country, earth, ground, husbandman, husbandry. Land, from H119, to show blood in the face, that is flush, or turn rosy. Be dyed red, made red, ruddy. Okay, that's kind of dumb. We were looking up ground, and it ends up combining with man, or how it combines with man, I guess. Obviously manipulated, but whatever. Ground equals earth. That's the point. So, and I guess it equals man too, because man was made out of the earth, or out of the ground. So, okay. So, this second beast comes from the Hebrews. And over time, Judea and Israelites, and now Judaism. He has literally and spiritually a duality there. That's the 2. As a covering and promise protection. That's the horns. As or like, or likened to Jesus, Yeshua, the Lamb. But he conveys forth, spake, pride, or boasted, prideful, a dragon. That's the dragon. Before I say this beast, we should do some more verses to get to the image. So just hang on, we'll get there. So in the meantime, see what you can come up with looking at more of the clues. Revelation 13:12. And he exerciseth all power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound has healed or was healed. Exerciseth is G4160, to make or do, abide, plus agree, appoint, times avenge, times band together, be bear, times be ray, bring forth, cast out, cause, commit, plus content, continue, deal, plus without any delay, would, do, doing, execute, exercise, fulfill, gain, give, have, hold, times journeying, keep, plus lay, wait, plus lighten the ship, make, times mean, plus none of these things move me, observe, ordain, perform, provide, plus have purged, plus or purpose, put, plus raising up, times secure, plus or shoe, times shoot, or plus shoot out, send, take, tarry, plus transgress the law, work, yield. Compared to G4238, to practice, that is, perform, repeatedly or habitually, by implication, to execute, accomplish, etc., specifically to collect dues, fare, personally, commit, deeds, do, exact, keep, require, use, arts. But none of these things move me in this lit. Sort of angers me a little. It proves the rewriters are not spiritually led or inclined to do what they are doing, and that they find it menial and boring. But they must do it to keep us sheep in line and under control, they think, anyway. Power, G1849. Same as before, mastery abilities, some used as tokens of control. First is G4413, foremost, in time, place, order, or importance, before beginning, best, chief, chiefest, first of all, former, contracted, superlative of G4253, for, that is, in front of, prior, figuratively, superior to, above, ago, before, or ever. Before is G1799, in the face of, literally or figuratively, before, in the presence, sight of, to, neuter of, a compound of G1722, denoting fixed position in place, time, or state, by implication, instrumentally, that is a relation of rest, in, at, upon, by, etc., about, after, against, plus almost, times altogether, among, times as, at, before, between, hereby, plus all means, for, sake of, plus give, self, wholly to, here, in, into, inwardly, times mightily, because of, upon, openly, outward, times outwardly, one, quick, times quickly, plus shortly, speedily, times that, times there, therein, thereon, throughout, unto, or to, toward, under, when, where, wherewith, while, with, within. And of G3700, to gaze, that is, with wide open eyes, as at something remarkable, appear, look, see, show, self. I almost know that one by heart. Some of these I know almost by heart. Causeth is G4160, same as exerciseth, to make or do, etc. Long list. So this next beast that comes from the religious of the Hebrews, comes up out of the earth, has abilities to captivate and hold the attention, all the power, like the religions, the first beast, that was remarkable to be a part of and perceive before him and causeth or it was remarkable to be a part of and perceive. This beast makes the Hebrews, now Jewish people, worship their religion, the earth, etc., to worship the first beast, and those who are Christians, them which dwell therein, to pay homage to or reverence, worship their religion, the beast, the first beast, Christianity, whose deadly wound was healed. That's whose deadly wound was healed. That's Christianity. So, Revelation 13:13. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men. Doeth is 4160, same as causeth and exerciseth in verse 12, the last verse. Maketh is also this G4160, to make or do, etc. Fire is G4442, fire, literally, figuratively, specifically lightning, fiery, fire. Earth is 1093, same as before, but as per the spiritual meaning, should be translated as region here, so as to better suit the verse. The site is G1799, same as before in verse 12. Men is G444, same as before. The countenance, man face, that is a human being, certain man. From G435, a man, properly an individual male, fellow husbandman, sir, and from G3700, to gaze, that is, with wide open eyes, as at something remarkable, appear, look, see, show self. This verse gives more clues about this second beast, because of the influence and abilities to power that it has, like the religions, the first beast, or because of specifically Judaism and Christianity, the beast, whose deadly wound was healed. It has the ability, the power, performing spiritual works, appearing strong, and as an indication of its authentic spiritual supernatural nature, being from God. He doeth great wonders that maketh fire come down from heaven. Literal interpretation, the pride way, the dragon, tells us that we have seen this miracle of fire coming down from heaven in 1 Kings 18:38. The fire of the Lord fell and consumed Elijah's sacrifice when no fire came for Jezebel's prophets of Baal to consume the sacrifice made to the pagan god. Also, in 2 Kings 1:10, fire came down from heaven to consume the king of Samaria's captain of 50 and of 50 more who went to meet Elijah. And also in the New Testament, in Acts 2:3, we see that the Holy Spirit appeared unto them, those gathered in the upper room waiting, as cloven tongues like as of fire, and it sat upon each of them. So this sign of fire coming down from heaven is a spiritual thing. When I inquired about these examples that I was led to, I was told that the example in 2 Kings 1:18 is the exact as being slain in the spirit as we think of it today. But I asked, what about fire coming down on the altar that Elijah built and wetted down with water? I was told that it was a simple lightning strike, and what seemed miraculous to the onlookers was elementary now. Water conducts the flow of electricity, thus the complete consumption of the whole altar, yet containment to only the altar and the rock pools of water around it. Duh! Makes so much sense, right? So back to the slain in the spirit thing. I saw years ago that this verse was like what was happening at big Christian rally events, like the ones where Benny Hinn would be, and so on. Benny Hinn would get the atmosphere in the arena built up so heavy, so spirit-filled, where if you walked in late, you would just feel the anointing hit you like a ton of bricks. Then he could just wave his arms and half the audience of hundreds or even thousands would fall over. I know I was at one and felt it and partook in it. This is the fire coming down from heaven that this verse is speaking about. The miracles the anointing of the Holy Spirit can perform. A side note here, back when I was first shown this about verse 13:13, I was also shown something about Benny Hinn that freaked me out about his name. Benny, shortened, is Ben, which in Hebrew means son of, and Hin is short for Hinnom, which is Hebrew, or in Hebrew, is the valley where the fires burn all the time, because it is a valley outside the walls of Jerusalem where they throw the trash into and burn it, or they used to. This is the Hebrew depiction of hell, or as close as they get to it. So Benny Hinn's name in Hebrew, it's also the depiction of the Valley of Armageddon. That's where it's going to take place at. So Benny Hinn's name in Hebrew is son of the trash heap, or son of rottenness, or son of hellfire, and so on. I don't know if Benny Hinn's ministry is still as, quote, on fire as it was back in the late 1990s and early 2000s. I think a lot of those TBN or TV ministries have been exposed as greedy and all about money pastors. So the fire, the quote, fire, unquote, may have calmed down some, but I know some are still going strong. But I was called away from all those way before my 10-year walk around the world, and I was shown the depiction of their miraculous works a long time ago. So anyway, back to Revelation 13. Revelation 13:14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of, was added, those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by the sword and did live. Let's go ahead and put 15 with this, since the two verses kind of go together so much. So 13:15. And he had power to give life, some translations is breath, unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So deceiveth is G 4105, to properly cause to roam from safety, truth, or virtue, go astray, deceive, err, seduce, wander, be out of the way. From G 4106, objectively fraudulent, subjectively a straying from orthodoxy or piety, deceit, to deceive, delusion, error. Feminine of G 4108 as abstraction, roving as a tramp, that is by implication an impostor or misleader, deceiver, seducing. What? What's that sound like? A false worker of light? Maybe? Yes? Earth is G 1093, same as before, only it should be region here maybe. Miracles is G 4592, same as wonders, and indication, especially ceremonially or supernaturally, miracle, sign, token, wonder. Neuter of a presumed derivation of the base of G 4591, a mark, to indicate, signify. Wound is 4127, same as before, a stroke, by implication, a wound, figuratively, a calamity, plague, stripe, wound, wounded. From G 4141, to pound, that is, figuratively inflict with calamity, smite. From G 4111, through the idea of flattening out, to mold, that is, shape, to or fabricate, form. Compare to G 5180, to thump, that is, cudgel or pummel, properly with a stick, etc. But repeated blows, by implication, to punish, figuratively, to offend the conscience, beat, smite, strike, wound. Sword is 3162, a knife, that is, dirk, figuratively, war, judicial punishment, sword. From 3163, a battle, that is, figuratively, controversy, fighting, striving. From 3164, to war, that is, figuratively, to quarrel, dispute, fight, strive. Image is G 1504, a likeness, that is, literally, statue. Profile, or figuratively, representation, resemblance, image. From G 1503, to resemble, akin to G 1502, through the idea of faintness as a copy, properly, to be weak, that is, yield, give place. Life is G 4151, a current of air, that is, breathe, blast, or breeze. By analogy, or figuratively, a spirit that is human, the rational soul. By implication, vital principle, mental disposition, etc., or superhuman, an angel, demon, or divine, God, Christ, Spirit, the Holy Spirit, ghost, life, spirit, spiritual, spiritually, mind. From G 4154, to breathe, hard, that is, breeze, blow. Compare to 5590, breathe, that is, by implication, spirit, abstractly or concretely, the animal central principle only. Breathe, heartly, life, mind, soul, plus us, plus you. From G 5594, to breathe, voluntarily, but gently, that is, by implication of reduction of temperature, by evaporation, to chill, figuratively, wax cold. Speak is G 2980, to talk, that is, utter words, preach, say, speak, after, talk, tell, utter. Compare to G 3004, properly, to lay, Fourth, that is, figuratively relate in words, usually of systematic or set discourse, by implication to mean. Ask, bid, boast, call, describe, give out, name, put forth, say in, say on, shew, speak, tell, utter. So this second beast is able to mislead and misdirect because of wonders, miracles performed by the ability, power within it that the religious, the beast, give witness to or attest to or hold as truth to do in the sight of the beast. This beast puts in the minds of the Hebrews that saying to them that dwell on the earth to represent the Christian religion as this beast is, that's to make an image to the beast which had the wound and did live. And this representation should contain the words of Jesus by the sword. This beast was able to adhere the Holy Spirit of God and other spiritual truth that speak, and to manifest a dual reality as its description and in its boastings, such that those of the religion of Christianity did not, such that if those of the religion of Christianity did not adore it, worship, that's the worship, they might end up caught in or headed for a spiritual death, should be killed. So, let's go through the clues of the verses 11 through 15 to see if this second beast can be identified. So, for all of these clues, I've kind of made a chart here. We'll do the clues for the second beast, and then I'll say the clues, and then the interpretation of the clues from the spiritual interpretation, and then what verse out of Revelation 13 that they came from. So the clue, the first clue, coming up out of the earth, the interpretation is the Hebrew descent, and that's from verse 11. He had two horns like a lamb. It's a dual coverage and protection resembling Jesus. That's from verse 11. He spake as a dragon. Its prideful ways, involvement. Verse 11. Exercised all power of the first beast before him. He had all the abilities of the religions. That's verse 12. Causes the earth, made peoples of the Hebrew religion. That's verse 12. To worship the first beast, to reverence their respective religions. That's verse 12. Whose deadly wound was healed. That's one of which was the Christianity religion. It's one of, and that was from verse 12. He does great wonders. He indicated and purposed the performing of exceedingly miraculous signs or tokens of faith. That's verse 13. So that he maketh fire come down from heaven. Elijah's altar in 1 Kings 18. Elijah's captain of 50 in 2 Kings 1. And the Holy Spirit speaking in tongues, Acts 2. That's verse 13. On earth inside of men. That's in the region of Israel's history for all to know. Verse 13. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth, and lead astray the people of the Hebrews and Christians because of the history, and it's by those miracles. That's verse 14, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, since he had the ability to act of the prideful or in the way of the pride, according to the organized religions. Verse 14. saying to them that dwell on the earth, calling or putting forth the idea to the Hebrews, that's verse 14, that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by the sword and did live, that the Hebrews should describe representation and statutes resembling the Word of God for the Christians. That's verse 14. And a note here, remembering in verse 5, the first beast has 4,000 and 2,000 years to continue. So this second beast has come along and been there in the midst of this timeline of the religions of God's Adamic peoples, which after Jesus includes all Christians, believers, no matter their race. So continuing with the clues, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. That's the second beast had the ability to make statutes representing the Christian's religion, breathe, or that is, have literal and spiritual ability to manifest aspects of itself. That's verse 15, that the image of the beast should both speak, the representing statutes of the Christian religion should preach and spread, that's verse 15, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast, sustaining that all professing Christians who do not hold reverence to the statutes that represent the religion, that's verse 15, should be killed. That's the last clue. Shall also lose or risk losing their spiritual life. That's verse 15. So with all the clues and ciphers to the clues, were you able to piece together the identification of the second beast? Don't feel too bad if you still don't quite grasp it. It took a while before the Holy Spirit showed me. I guess it is good to get a strong understanding of what all the clues are first. Like I said, I've had many of them since the early 2000s. Okay, I know the suspense is driving you crazy. So, this second beast is the Bible. It was first the Hebrew scrolls, the Torah, the Megillah, Esther scrolls, the Tanakh, the prophets. Then, verse 14 shows it is the image, the Bible, the Old Testament, the New Testament, in print, in every language, no longer done by hand, by traditional scribes, but by machine, by the tens of thousands. This second beast has a duality within its spiritual insight inspired to its writers, who were Hebrews, by the Holy Spirit, and the literal interpretation that is powered by the way of pride and blind ambition of the men inspired by Satan. The scrolls, even New Testament books of the Gospels and letters of the apostles, were written or copied by hand in the traditional ways of the scribes until the printing press was invented. At first, anyway, all scribes were of Hebrew descent, even those converted or forced to convert to the Christian faith. So all the whole Bible that we read today was written by Hebrews, which is fitting since Christianity was born out of Hebraism. I really thought that this second beast was going to be Zionism or something similar, but the melding of Hebrew roots and organized Christianity, until I saw it spiritually and completely. The second beast, the written scriptures, the Bible, for us, can be very deceiving if we let it speak to us literally through the way of pride. The first beast, the religions of the world, with a focus on Hebraism and more so on Christianity that spreads throughout the whole world, is accompanied by the written word, which is the second beast, which when read or seen, understood, and perceived through the Holy Spirit, the spiritual way of reading, is not a bad thing. And the religions of the world would not be bad if run according to God Yahweh's will and ways. But these are only bad if the dragon's power is brought into it, which it has been. But when it comes to Christianity, the first beast, and the Bible, the second beast, God has made sure there is the way of the Spirit for the people to choose to go, that they may live spiritually in safety and freedom under His protection. God's horn, the way of salvation, Jesus, Yeshua. This second beast, the written word, is also Daniel's fourth beast's little horn, more like Revelation's heads with the rewards or crowns. The written word uproots three, which here is actually three, meaning religions of meaning the religions of Hebraism, Christianity, and Islam, all of which have roots in the Hebrew Torah, which also Daniel's little horn thinks to change times and laws, which is clearly been done over time, and even again now as the Bible is being rewritten. But that is just supporting information. Daniel is a whole other study. We were told that the written word misleads its readers because of the indications of supernatural signs and boastings of miracles from heaven, which, if read literally in the way of pride, yes, all these are supernatural miracles, but when read spiritually and with reason, though through the Holy Spirit's help, there is no deception, and the reader is not misled, but instead brought to a closer understanding of the character of God, Yahweh, the Father, and Jesus, Yeshua, His Son, His way of salvation. Unfortunately, Satan also put his way of prideful thinking, the dragon, into it. The first beast, the religions, were made to into organizations and run like capitalistic corporations with a ruling hierarchy. And the second beast, still evolving, also was and is being written with a literal agenda in mind, written within its systematic picture of historic revelation and statutes, is the evolutionary depiction of world domination for the chosen people of God, the Hebrews. This is where the second beast, along with the first beast's latest definitions, become very dangerous for the people of the world, or the earth and sea. It just depends on if the reader is reading literally the way of pride or prideful with, or it just depends on if the reader is reading literally the way of pride or prideful, or spiritually the way of the Spirit-filled believers of Jesus, the way of God, Yahweh's salvation. And especially for Christians, if the professed does not read and keep the Bible or religious text, the end result could be eternal death for the soul. But let's go on and see what the next verses tell us about the mark and how we know, or now that we know what the beasts are. Revelation 13:16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Small is G3398, small in size, quantity, number, or figuratively, dignity. Least, small, little, and less. Great is G3173, same as before, big, little, literally or figuratively, plus fear, exceedingly, great, greatest, high, large, loud, mighty, be, sore, afraid, strong, times 2 years. Rich is G4145, wealth, figuratively, abounding with, rich. From G4149, wealth, as fullness, that is, literally money, possessions, or figuratively, abundance, richness, specifically, valuable, bestowment, riches. From G4130, to fulfill, literally or figuratively, or fill. Imbue, influence, supply. Specifically, to fulfill, time, accomplish, fill, come, furnish, full, come. I think this has to do with where it refers to until Shiloh come, the fullness of time, and King David and his generations being king until Shiloh come. Yeah, I think that's what it has to do with. The come. Yeah. Anyway, next is poor, is G4434, to crouch, a beggar, as cringing, that is, pauper, literally or figuratively, distressed, beggar, beggarly, poor. Akin to G4422, to scare, frighten, probably alternate akin of G4098, through the idea of causing to fall. Alternate of to fall, literally or figuratively fail, fall down, light on. So maybe stand, be successful, get up, lift up, because it is akin to G4072, to fly, flying. Maybe. Free is G1658, unrestrained, to go at pleasure. That is, as a citizen, not a slave, whether freeborn or manumitted, or generally exempt from obligation or literally or liability. Free man, free woman, at liberty. Bond is G1401, a slave, literally or figuratively, involuntarily or voluntarily, frequently, therefore, in a qualified sense of subjection or subserviency. Bond, bondman, servant. From G1210, to bind, literally or figuratively, bind, be in bonds, knit, tie, wind. Also, G1163, active present of G1210. It is as it is, was, etc., necessary, as binding, behoved, be meet, must, needs, be, need, needful, needful, ought, should. Also, G 1198, middle voice of 1210, to beg, as binding oneself, that is, petition, beseech, pray, to make request. Compare to G 4441, to question, that is, ascertain, by inquiry, as a matter of information merely, by implication to learn, by casual intelligence, ask, demand, inquire, understand. Receive is G 1325, same as give in to give life of verse 15. To give, used in right application properly or by implication, literally, figuratively, greatly modified by the connections. Adventure, bestow, bring forth, commit, deliver up, give, grant, hinder, make, minister, number, offer, have power, put, receive, set, show, smite with the hand, strike with the palm of the hand, suffer, take, utter, yield. Mark is G 5480, a scratch or etching, that is, stamp as a badge of servitude or sculptured figure, statue. Graven mark, from the same as G 5482, to sharpen, to a point, a stake, that is, by implied, a palisade or rampart, military mound for circumvallation, to grave, especially or in a siege, trench, akin to G 1125, through the idea of scratching, to grave, especially to write, figuratively to describe, write, writing, written. Okay, so palisade is, Webster says, a high fence of stakes, especially for defense, and to a line of steep cliffs. A rampart is a protection barrier, and to a broad embankment raised as a fortification, and circumvallation is a line of fortifications built by the attackers around an enemy fort to protect the besiegers from sorties by its defenders and to enhance the blockade. Okay, so right hand is G 1188, the right side, or feminine hand, as that which usually takes. They have it it's the feminine hand that takes. Okay, right hand, right side. Interestingly, they put right and hand together as one word. Dr. Strong did not do that. Anyway, from G 1209, to receive, literally or figuratively, accept, receive, take. Compare to G 2983, to take, literally or figuratively, to get hold of, accept, plus be amazed, essay, attain, bring, times when I call, catch, come on, unto, plus forget, have, hold, obtain, receive, times after, take away, take up. Foreheads is G 3359, the face, the forehead, as opposite the countenance, forehead, from G 3326, properly denoting accompaniment, amid, local or casual, modified variously according to the case used. Genitive case denotes association, or accusative case denotes cessation, or succession, with which it is joined, afterward, times that he again, against, among, times and, plus follow, hence, hereafter, in, of, up, on, plus are, times and, setting, since, unto, plus together, when, without, accompanying an intermediate position between G575, which is off, that is, away from something near, in various senses of place, time, or relation, literally or figuratively, here, after, ago, at, because of, before, by the space of, for, forth, from, in, out, of, off, up, upon, on, once, since, and with. In composition, as a prefix, usually denotes separation, departure, cessation, completion, and reversal, etc. Or between, also G1537, denoting origin, the point whence motion and or action proceeds from, out of. And I've done this one before. After, among, times are, at, betwixt, beyond, by, the means of, exceedingly, times, abundantly, above, for, forth, from, among, from, forth, from, up, plus grudgingly, plus heartily, times heavenly, times hereby, plus very, very highly, in godly, because of, by reason of, over, since, times thenceforth, through, times unto, times vehemently, with, without, Okay, so in verse 13-16, as all of these verses shows the duality of the beast system, the way of pride, the dragon, or the way of the spirit, God, if you are reading this literally, this mark that all will be given is the bondage of pride. But if you come out of the religious system and read with spiritual eyes, the mark is the seal of God, the seal of the Holy Spirit, and Jesus' salvation, the seal of the Holy Spirit and Jesus, which is the salvation of God and His only way to life. The word receive shows that it is given by way of learning the hard way, through trials, testing, and attacks of the enemy and his minions. The word mark alludes to the building of the military-type protections to help in these spiritual battles against Satan, while ending up at a meaning of to grave or write, as to say when some are victoriously overcoming these battles. Spiritually, understanding and knowledge that's in their foreheads is what the bride takes on or accepts, and maybe gets to go in the rapture of the bride event that's in their right hands. If literally seen, the right hand accepts for their works of being prideful and religious what the literal says. However, they, the controllers, the beast, the prideful, will make it play out. So, Revelation 13:17. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Might is G1410, to be able or possible, be able, can do, or can do, cannot, could, may, might be possible, be of power, with the negative number. That's with the negative number. So buy is G59, properly to go to market, that is by implication to purchase, specifically to redeem. Buy, redeem. From is G58, to gather, properly the town, square, as a place of public resort, by implication a market or thoroughfare. market, place, marketplace, street, akin to G11453, to waken, transitively or intransitively, that is, rouse, literally or figuratively, from sleep, sitting, lying, from disease or death, figuratively from obscurity, inactivity, ruins, non-existence, awake, lift up, raise, raise again, raise up, rear up, arise, rise again, rise up, stand, take up, akin to G58, through the idea of collecting one's faculties. And just for fun, they have a whole list of see also numbers. And so, just for fun, I'm going to read those off. Even though this is long, it has some meaning here. So, I'm going to read them off. I'm not going to put them on the screen. I checked them out, though. So, G60, relating to the marketplace, that is, forensic times, by implication, vulgar, baser, sort, low, from G58, the phonetic, and these are all kind of the, I'll do the phonetic if they're in the word family. So the phonetic is agora for G58. G60 phonetic is agoraios. G61 phonetic is agra, abstractly a catching of fish, also concretely a haul of fish, drought. From G71 phonetic ago, properly to lead, by implication to bring, drive, reflexively go, specifically pass time, or figuratively induce, be, bring forth, carry, let go, keep, lead away, be open. G62 phonetic is agramatos, unlettered, that is, illiterate, unlearned. From G1121, a writing, that is, a letter, note, epistle, book, etc., plural, learning, bill, learning, letter, scripture, writing, written. From G1125, to grave, especially to write, figuratively to describe, write, writing, written. Same as that word mark ended up on. Interesting, right? G63, phonetic is agroleo, to camp out, abide in the field. From G68, a field as a drive for cattle. Generally, the country, specifically a farm, that is, hamlet, country, farm, piece of ground, land. And from G833, a yard, as open to the wind, by implication, a mansion, court, sheepfold, hall, palace. From the same as G109, to breathe, unconsciously, that is, respire, by analogy to blow, air, as naturally, circumambient, air. G64 phonetic is agrio, hunt, that is, figuratively, to entrap, catch. From G61, I did that one already. G65 phonetic is agrielios, and oleaster, that's an oil, that means oil. Olive tree, which is wild. From G66, phonetic, agrios, wild, literally, natural, or figuratively, fierce, wild, raging. From G68, did that one already. G67, phonetic, agrippas, So the Thayer definition of Agrippa is hero-like, and the meaning of it for the G67 is wild horse tamer. Agrippa, Agrippus, one of the Herods. Agrippa in the New Testament, Agrippa, talked about in the New Testament, like around Acts or somewhere around in there. Or maybe Romans, Hebrews, I'm not sure. Anyway, I'd have to look it up. Well, that was an interesting sidetrack of the word family definitions. It's helpful for the spiritual understanding of the words buy, and now we'll do sell is G4453, to be busy, to trade, to barter, as a peddler, that is, sell whatever is sold. Mark, G5480, same as verse 16. Number is G706, a number, as reckoned up, number, from G142, to lift, by implication, to take up or away, figuratively to raise the voice, keep in suspense the mind, specifically sail away, that is, weigh anchor, by Hebraism, to expiate sin, away with, bear up, carry, lift up, lose, make to doubt, put away, remove, take away, up, take up. Verse 16 ends with a colon, so we are to note the separation of subject and pay close attention to the following. So in 17 it says that no man, meaning human, will find it possible to, that's the might, go to the markets, to the streets, out in public, gathering places, to share the gospel of Jesus, before that person has awakened from spiritual sleep. That's the buy and sell. In order to be awakened from spiritual sleep, the person must have committed to the faith of Christianity. The proper way is to admit you are a sinner, ask that Jesus come into your heart, and ask him to forgive you and show you the way to follow him with the leading of his Holy Spirit. But then the person must go through the trials, testings, and attacks the enemy, Satan, and his minions bring at them. That's receive a mark. Then, with that spiritual growth, the person is able to spread the gospel, buy and sell, of God Yahweh's salvation plan. The or between the mark, the name of the beast, and the number of his name in this verse could as well be like as follows. The mark, rather, the name of the beast, yea, the number of his name. Because if a person has grown in spiritual fortitude, received a mark, and has gained knowledge and understanding by reading the Bible spiritually, the name of the beast, there is no undoing it, and the expulsion of sin through the continuance of repentance just happens as a part of that growth, the number of his name. What seems like the person will have to go through one of three things in the verse, either the mark, the name of the beast, or the number of his name, is really all one thing as the person grows spiritually. Again, this shows that this so-called mark is only a spiritual badge that only the spiritual entities can see. It can be good or it can be bad. If you are reading the Bible, the second beast, spiritually, and seeing prophecy and the world with the eyes of the Holy Spirit, then it is good. But if you are reading the Bible, the second beast of verse 11, some call the false prophet, others say this one is the Antichrist, But if you are reading it literally for what the words say in a literal viability, then it is bad. The religion, the first beast, is bad. And it is a given, or it is given its strength to manifest into reality. Power. That's the power. By the prideful ways and thoughts, that's the dragon, of men who want to be in control and rule the world. That's the heads. So, okay, let's move on. Last verse. Yay. Revelation 13:18. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So this is going to be fun. Here is G5602 in this same spot. That is here or hither. Here, hither, in this place. There. From 3592, the same. That is this or that one. Plural, these or those. Often used as a personal pronoun. He, she, such, these, thus. From G1161. Adversative or continuative, but, and, etc. Also, and, but, moreover, now, part of speech, conjunction. Is G2076. He, she, or it, is. Also, with the neuter plural, they are, be, belong, call, times can, cannot, come, consisteth, times dure for a while, plus follow, times have, that is, to say, make, meaneth, times must, needs, plus profit, plus remaineth, plus wrestle. From G1510, I exist, used only when emphatic, am, have been, times it is, I was. Also, G1488, thou art, be. Also, G1498, might, could, would, or should, be, mean, plus perish, should be, was, were. Also, G1511, to exist, am, are, come, is, times lust after, times please well, there is, to be, was. Also G1527, severely, one by one. Also 2258, I, thou, etc. Was, wast, or were, plus agree, be times have, charge of, hold, use, was, wast, wore. Also is G2071, will be, shall, should, be have, shall come, to pass, times may have, times fall, what would follow, times live long, times sojourn. Also G2070, we were, or we are, be, have our being, times have, hope, plus the gospel, was preached unto us. Also, G2075, ye are, be, have, been, belong. Also, 2076, we did that one for the word here. Also, G2771, gain, pecuniary, or generally, gain, lucre. Also, G2468, be thou, plus agree, be times give thyself wholly to. Also, G 5600. May, might, can, could, would, must, etc. B plus appear, are, may, might, should. Be times have, is, plus pass. The flower of her age should stand where. So what messages are they trying to tell us here? Or specifically me, that I'm old and should just be happy and fall in line? Well, sorry. I've always been a rebel, and it's how my father made me. So next is wisdom. G4678, wisdom. Higher or lower, worldly or spiritual. Wisdom. From G4680, clear, wise. In a most general application, wise. Compare to G5429, thoughtful, that is, sagacious or discreet, implying a cautious character. In a bad sense, conceited. Also in a comparative, or in the comparative, wise, wiser. From G5424, to rein in or curb. The midriff as partition of the body, that is, figuratively by implication of sympathy, the feelings or sensitive nature, by extension the mind or cognitive faculties, understanding. Compare 5420, to fence or enclose, that is, specifically to block up, figuratively to silence, stop. G5429 is also from G4680, denotes practical skill or acumen, clear, and G4908 mentally put or putting together, that is, sagacious, prudent. From G4920, to send, put together, that is, mentally to comprehend, by implication to act piously, consider, understand, be wise. So, sagacious means of keen mind, shrewd, and acumen means mental keenness and penetration, discernment, insight. And just so you know, keen is sharp and severe, excellent, wonderful, mentally alert, enthusiastic, strong, acute. So from G4862, denoting union with or together, that is, by association, companionship, process, resemblance, possession, instrumentally, addition, etc. Beside, with. In compounds, it has similar applications, including completeness. Understanding is G3563, the intellect, that is, mind, divine or human, in thought, feeling, or will. By implication, meaning, mind, understanding. From G1097, to know, absolutely, allow, be aware of, feel, have, known, have, knowledge, have, or known, knowledge, perceive, be resolved, can speak, be sure, understand. Compare G5590, breathe, that is, by implication, spirit, abstractly or concretely, heartily, life, mind, soul, plus us, plus you. And we have done all this before. Count is 5585. To use pebbles in enumeration, that is, genitive case, to compute, count. From 5586, a pebble, to worn or as worn smooth by handling, that is, by implication of use as a counter or ballot, a verdict of acquittal or ticket of admission, a vote, stone, voice. From the same as G5584, to manipulate, that is, verily by contact, figuratively to search for, feel after, handle, touch. From G5567, to touch or rub the surface, to twitch or twang, that is, to play on stringed instrument, make medley, sing, psalms, celebrate the divine worship with music and accompanying odes. Compare G5597 to triturate, that is, by analogy, to rub out kernels from the husk with the fingers or hand. Rub. So triturate means to rub or grind to a fine powder. So these JEWs doing the rewriting think they have to use a word that the average person would not know. Then, by using the phrase within the commas, the words that is, they can tell us exactly what they want us to think and what the meaning are that they want us to take away from the definition. This is a vain and biased attempt at controlling us. Okay, moving on. Man is G444. The countenance, man face, that is a human being, certain man. From G435, a man, properly individual male, fellow human, or husband, man, sir. From G3700, to gaze, that is, with wide open eyes, as at something remarkable, appear, look, see, show self. Alternate of G3708, to stare, that is, by implication, discern clearly, physically or mentally, by extension, to attend to, by Hebraism, to experience, passively, to appear, behold, perceive, see, take, heed. 600, 66 is G5516. Okay, so this is Greek letters used as numbers, denoting respectively 600, 60, and 6. 666 as a numeral, 600, 66. So the Greek 22nd letter equals unmarried, and it's from G1 as a negative particle, the first letter of the Greek alphabet, as a contraction from G427 equals without, in the sense of privation, and G1 is alpha, and it's from G1062, nuptials, marriage, wedding. So it's the negative of G1 and the nuptials, marriage, wedding, which equals unmarried, the 22nd letter. The Greek 14th letter, to work good, do good, and it's from G18, good, benefit, good, goods, things, or good things, well. Compare to G2570, properly beautiful, but chiefly, figuratively, good, literally or morally, that is, valuable or virtuous, for appearance or use, better, fair, good, goodly, honest, meet, well, worthy. And from G2041, Agabus, an Israelite, the third definition is locust. An obsolete number or letter is G4742 as a cross of the Greek 5th and 6th. It's the intermediate between the two. And that equals to stick, that is prick, a mark, incised or punched, for recognition of ownership. That is, figuratively, scar of service. Mark. The Greek fifth letter equals father as a vocative. Abba, of Chaldee origin, H2, father. The Greek sixth letter equals Abel, the son of Adam, Abel. The Thayer definition is vanity, that is, transitory. Of Chaldee origin, H1893, Habel, the son of Adam, Abel. The BDB definition, Brown Driver Briggs, is Abel, breathe. The same as Hebrew 1892, emptiness or vanity, figuratively something transitory and unsatisfactory, times altogether vain, vanity. From 1891, to be vain in act, word, or expectation, specifically to lead astray. Become, be vain, become vain, make vain. So here is an instance where the rewriting of those controllers actually helped those of us who study to show ourselves approved, wanting a spiritual insight, because the Strongs used to be very limited and vague and just gave the number. I do remember this for a fact. So this is really great. So this was cool. We see how the number being broken down is characteristic of what we have been talking about. The word wisdom gives a picture of the same as what the leopard shows, clear, keen judgment, or mindful understanding. And what a surprise when we look up the word is, right? Instead of just a definition of a action being verb, we found follow, remain, doer for a while, profit, and wrestle. Just the type of things we might be doing in order to grow spiritually, to get the wisdom and knowledge from the Holy Spirit. After overcoming trials, testings, and attacks from the enemy and his minions, taking us around in circles, that we have to endure to get that growth in the spiritual understanding. So I hope you have been able to see all of the clues which tell us what these beasts are according to the spiritual way of seeing them. In Yahweh God's way of the Spirit, these beasts are not bad for his people, as long as they overcome the power of the dragon, or the ability of pride and the prideful ways of man that man adds to the equation, which is the dangerous trap that leads to destruction of the soul. When we read the written scriptures or histories, the second beast, literally, we are seeing them with prideful eyes, thus opening the door for all kinds of interpretation, false, spiritual, and individual thoughts or ideas based on prideful reasoning of man's intellectual power, deducing hearsay from others of the same kinship, and blending with old mindsets developed out of the same type of literal interpretation. It is all of pride, the dragon. But Yeshua's bride, Yeshua's elect, or Yahweh's, God's elect, are overcomers. We see spiritually. The mark we get is his seal, the seal of his Holy Spirit, Yeshua, because we know and understand and are covered by his true plan of salvation through Yeshua, Jesus. So I hope you get this. But anyway, I'm going to end this. It's really long. So that's it for now. I don't know if I will finish the vials in Revelation 16 or not. We'll see. Yahweh bless you. Keep praying, bride. Love you all. Bye-bye.